Hi lovelies, it's Jo from Angels and Ancestors, and this is your moon phase reading for the first quarter on the 6th of September. So we're going to ask the cards if we can have a card for the 6th of September, the first quarter of the new moon phase, please. Thank you. And we've got 2. Lovely. And can we have a foundation card, please, for the first quarter for everyone who's watching this video? Ooh. For the first quarter, the 6th of September, can I have something that's going out into the past energies for those who are watching? First quarter of the moon phase, 6th of September. Something's passing out of it, thank you. Okay. Thoughts and feelings, that was coming out a bit fast, wasn't it? And that's your future card. Okay, so what we've got, the current situation shows us the standing stones, and the standing stones are very spiritual. You just got to think of Stonehenge and how you come together, and how everything is positioned there, and the standing stones are no different. They also give us some insight into our spirituality. They bring balance in or not, depending on what we're dealing with. And currently what I'm getting is that the current situation is the Three of Chalices. So if you are celebrating with friends, family and community, you kind of like need to kind of touch base with the spiritual stuff as well. Don't forget that, because that is mightily important to ground yourself, mightily important for you to feel that the sun is still shining upon you in everything that you do. I kind of know that there's lots of celebrations going on at the moment because it's coming up to Freshers Week. There's a whole load of things going on. The kids are going back to school, going up into new classes. There's all sorts of things going on, but you need to find the balance between the physical world and the spiritual world, and I think that's what the 2 cards are kind of indicating to us, that you know the balance needs to be there between the 2 and marrying the 2 up. So yeah, great that the community is coming together, your friends are coming together, your family's coming together. But just remember the other side of it, the traditional side of it, the spiritual side of it, because that can kind of be set on the wayside for a little while. And your foundation actually is a really nice card. It is the High Priest. And what he tells us in the foundation is that what you do spiritually is very important to you. It is showing that you are very skilled in what you do. You are very intuitive. You are able to teach as well as be taught. You are able to take anything from the elements and turn it into something absolutely powerful. So it's a really good card to have in your foundation. So the energy that's kind of leaving, and in this deck it's slightly different from other decks. This is the Devil in other decks, and because following the pagan path, I don't particularly fall in line with the Devil at all. So I really like this card. It's called Nature, and nature kind of like tells us about choices to be made of whether we're going to be free and do what we want to do, or whether we're going to be trapped into something that other people want us to do. And as this energy is kind of leaving the collective and it's kind of going out as an outward energy, I'm kind of getting the feeling that some of you are being released from some sort of entrapment, some sort of feeling that you weren't doing your own thing, and some of you are kind of like just turning your back on it in the first place. So it's neither here nor there. So whatever that is, you're dealing with it, and it's now passing through really nicely. So that's a good place for that to be. In your thoughts and feelings, we have celebrations. We have the Four of Wands, and this talks about sowing seeds in the past and kind of having the fruition of those seeds happen now, and what we're seeing is celebrations, and we're seeing the apples and the pears, and they've made cider out of it and they're drinking it and all the rest of it. And what this card also indicates, it just doesn't indicate that you're celebrating the here and now, but it's also a celebration of sowing some seeds for the future as well. So if that's your thought, if you've kind of come to the end of a project, or you've come full circle with something and you want to try something new, this card is indicating, yes, do it. Go and sow some seeds. Go and try something new, because there is celebrations there to be had. And get those celebrations out of your head and get it into the main part of your life here. But keeping in mind that you've got a spiritual side that needs nurturing as well. So for the future card, we have got the Four of Pentacles. Now the Four of Pentacles is one of these odd cards, and I never did get to grips with it in the main decks, but in this deck it's a little bit different. And what it tells us is that some people are going to be saving money, some people may be a bit miserly for some reason, some people are just going to hide away from other people. They don't want other people around, and they don't want to be bothered with other people, and they won't open the front door. They won't respond to you. So if this is you, and you're saving for a rainy day, or you're saving for a house, or you're saving for a car, or you're saving for something that is a little bit grander than normal, you know, don't hide that away from other people. Let people know what you're doing, because they will be supportive. For those of you who are trying to make ends meet, and you're thinking like, oh, I am saving like hell, yeah, at the moment the bills need to be paid. You know, all of us have had lots of expenses with kids going back to school and cars breaking down, and all sorts of things have been going on. So this could be an indication that somewhere in the near future you are going to be in the position of putting some money away. But in doing that, try not to cut yourself off from friends, family, community. Try to find a balance between putting that money away and kind of like remembering that you've got a life to live as well. So we're going to ask the archangels for this first quarter for some advice. We're going to have some advice for the first quarter from the archangels, please. Some advice from the archangels for the first quarter of the moon phase, September the 6th, 2019. Okay. Oh, we have two major arcanas. We have the Magician, who says you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. And then you've got the Emperor, and this says stability and efficiency, taking charge of a situation, ambitious plans. Wow, so I think they're telling us to go ahead with what we're thinking of doing. I think it's a magical time for all of us. I'm going to go to the Gaia deck next and get some guidance from Gaia for this first quarter of the moon phase in September 2019, which is the 6th. And please remember that this is a general reading. It won't resonate with everybody. Oh gosh. So take what you can, leave the rest. I know it says it's the moon phase in September, and it should be time specific, but I would always go by when you see this is when you need this. So there may be a message in here if you're watching this at a later date. So can I have some guidance from Gaia about the moon phase first quarter for the 6th of September 2019. Thank you. Okay, so we have Lost Love, which is this one, and it says surrender, healing and release. So basically it's just telling you if your heart's been broken in some way, and it doesn't necessarily mean a lost lover. It could be that somebody has passed away. It could be that somebody has moved away and you're not going to see them quite as much. And what it says for you to do is surrender and let that go out to the universe. Heal and release. Just let it go. I know that's easier said than done, but if you do the healing that you need to do, you will be able to release whatever that hurt is. And you know, I've just for some of you, this is going to be a loss of earnings. It's going to be a loss of something that you love to do is going to come to an end. So it's not just about human relationships, it's about all types of relationships. So then we have reflection. It says illusion, self-examination and distortion. So what this is telling us is what we may be looking at is distorted. We may be looking at ourselves and seeing ourselves in a distorted view. And by self-examining, we can bring ourselves back into focus, which will help us with our healing, but it will take the illusions away from other things as well, and it will help us open our eyes and see everything for its worth and its value, but everything in more clarity. Isn't it funny how this is the first moon phase, and with Gaia we've got 2 moons in the card. So yeah, lost love and reflection is what the cards are telling us there. Then we're going to go, I think we'll do the angels and ancestors next and ask them if they've got some wisdom and knowledge that they can share with us, please, for this first phase of the moon for the 6th of September 2019. Oh, okay. So we have got, this is coming out so much in the readings. We have got the Stargazer, and this tells us to set our sights higher. Reach for the stars, folks. You know, reach for the moon. You don't have to limit yourself. You're only limited by self-restrictions and your imagination. So yeah, kind of like, if you can, reach out. You've got the High Priest in your foundation. You know, the whole reading is quite strong for the new moon. So then we have the she-wolf. We've got the moon again. And it says unleash the wild within. So don't be frightened of holding back. You know, if you've got something that you really have a burning desire to do, let it go, let it happen. And then you have got the Medicine Guardian, and it says, be open to healing information. And what did this say? This says lost love, it says surrender, healing and release. So perhaps there's some information coming through to you that will speed up that healing process and be able to release things much quicker than you anticipated in the coming week. And then the last card that we've got is Mountains, and it says stand your ground. So whatever this is that you need to release from, it's saying stand your ground. Don't let people come back in like this. Don't let people kind of bring you back to a place where you're uncomfortable and you don't want to be. And try really hard that if you are saving for something and you don't want to go out, that you're telling people that you're not holding that back. Because people will understand. I'm getting the word understand around that. So there's no reason to hide the reason why you're not going out and about with people. There's no reason to fear that, because people do understand. But stand your ground. Definitely stand your ground. So we're going to ask the fairies if they can give us any further information about the first quarter of the moon phase and any wishes they want to share with us for the 6th of September 2019. Oh, I don't think we'll take that many. A sensible amount would be good. Could I have some wishes for the people watching the video? Moon phase first quarter, September 6th, 2019. Do you know what? They keep chucking out loads. Let's have a look, see what we've got. We've got summer, and it says everything that you are asking for becomes yours in the summertime. It's a bit of a way to go, because we've just entered the autumn. So the second one is daughter, and it says the answers to your questions involves your daughter. Now, if you haven't got a daughter, it is somebody that you would you're close enough to think of them as a daughter. So it could be any young woman that is in your life that you kind of look upon as your daughter. It's not just a bloodline daughter. So the next one is walk away, and it says leave unhealthy situations and enjoy new doors that are opening to you. Dietary change. Improve your diet, your life, and your life will also improve. Your wish is granted. What you've asked for is coming true. Healing, healed and healer. And this is running in line with some of these other cards. Healing energy surrounds you and this situation. And the last one is your desire is within reach, which is a very pretty little card. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but it is lovely. And it says, have faith, as everything you're working for is in your favour. Well, I really like that. I'm glad we took all of those, because they all make complete sense for the reading. I'm hoping that this is resonating for some. I think there's two messages in this reading. Clearly there are some of you that are doing some celebrating or thinking of doing some celebrating, and there's some of you that have felt quite entrapped, and it's time to move on and find yourself looking out for your desires and your wants and needs. So yeah, so whichever it is, just go for it. It looks pretty promising to me. Don't forget the healing bit, don't forget the grounding bit, because that is really important to take you through. I don't believe I just did that. Hold on a minute, folks. Right, let's start and we did get one card out, which is a really nice card. So we're asking Gaia for some dreams for this reading for the first quarter of the moon phase, the 6th of September 2019. Okay. So the first one that came out was intuition. What you're feeling is the right feeling. You're getting insight into whatever's going on. And sometimes we kind of think that we've got it wrong because we allow other people to let us believe that we've got it wrong. And we haven't. Your intuition is very strong at the moment. It has been for a while. So don't ignore it because it is there for you. It's your gut feeling. It's your insight. It's that thought that pops into your head that something is right or not right. So kind of go along with that because that serves you well, your intuition. And then you have got body and mind. Now when I see this card, I kind of like think that bringing together of the physical and the mental can be very difficult for some people. And I kind of look at this card and think of meditation and bringing the two together in a different realm so that you understand what it means in the physical realm to bring two things together. And it's kind of telling you that although we look after our bodies, sometimes we forget to nurture and favour our mind as well. So it's all about balance. It's all about learning to do what's best for the body and for the mind. So keep that in mind when you're going through the new quarter. I have some Blessed Bee cards for the first quarter of the moon phase in September, which is the 6th of September 2019. Can I have some Blessed Bee cards for the 6th of September 2019, which is the first quarter? Okay. So the first one that popped out was a blessing of the earth. So I was talking about earlier on about grounding yourself. Yeah, pop yourself out somewhere. Even if you live in a city or a town and you think there is nowhere to go, there is always somewhere that you can find to go and find some nature. I was really surprised when I went up to London and we went into a restaurant, and on the roof of the restaurant they'd got a herb garden growing, so that was quite interesting. Yeah, so it's a blessing of the earth, ground, and don't forget that your roots with the earth go down deep and she's there to support you at all times. So your second one is a blessing to lift sadness, and if you are going through this lost love energy at the moment, or you're hiding away because of some reason that you need to heal, there is a blessing to lift sadness for you. There is also a blessing for your creativity, and through your creativity your sadness, I'm getting, will be lifted and helped along the way. So don't ignore what you love to do, and your creativity doesn't have to be painting and drawing. It can be the written word, it can be a thought that you write down in a diary, there's all sorts of things that it can be. You're only limited again by your self-restrictions and your imagination. So then we have, this has been out a few times this week, a blessing to find your way. If you are going through a difficult situation, or you're just coming out of a difficult situation, there is a blessing there for you to find your way through it. And then there's a blessing for a homecoming. So I don't know if some of you have had somebody missing from your lives, or something missing from your lives. It's coming back to you, and it's coming back really strongly as far as I can see them. The celebrations that we were seeing earlier about community and family and friends, it could be to do with this homecoming, and I'm kind of getting the idea that because this energy is now moving away from you, that this is allowing this homecoming and your creativity to come into its own. So the last card that we've got is a blessing for your wisdom. You've got